Hassel Butcher from Full of Corks, and today we're going to talk about wine tasting. Now, I'm sure you've been out and seen people doing this swirling and sniffing and slurping and swishing and chewing and all these crazy things, and you're wondering, what in the heck are you doing? Just drink your freaking wine, man. Well, some of the reasons people might be doing that is to describe the wine to someone else, maybe for sales or for a blog or for reviews or for fun or for any other number of reasons. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So just the basics of formal wine tasting. Now, most importantly, there's no right way to taste wine. There's no wrong way to taste wine. You know, you could just take a drink and say, oh, this wine's freaking awesome, man, I love it. And that's fine. That's perfectly acceptable. Or you could say, oh, man, this wine sucks, don't buy this wine. Yeah, that works too. But sometimes you really want to portray exactly what you're tasting and be able to paint a picture with words about the wine that you're drinking. It could be for sales or anything. So we're just going to go over that, the formal wine tasting. And why would you need to learn that? Well, no one needs to learn it, but maybe you'll get invited to a wine tasting someday, or maybe you'll be out and about and you have a few people that know a little bit about wine, and it'll give you a little bit of an idea of what they're talking about. Oh, and maybe you can do the same thing and have a little conversation, be a nice conversation starter. So here we go. First thing we're going to talk about is appearance. So we're going to check the clarity first. So what we're looking at, also, I almost forgot. When doing this, it's good to have good lighting and a white background. Now, other than my walls, I don't really have a white surface right in front of me to look at. So a white sheet of paper is fine in this situation. Like usually if I'm in my office and I'm writing a review or a blog or something, I'll have just a sheet of paper in there on my desk. So here we go. Clarity. Where were we? So wine is clear. There's no sediment. It's not cloudy. There are no gas bubbles. So yeah, this is a clear wine. This wine is good to go as far as clarity is concerned. We also want to look at intensity. That's how pale the wine is, or how dark the wine is, or if it's somewhere in between. Now this wine is a Pinot Noir. And these are, for red wines, are very, very pale. Now, Pinot Noir has a very thin skin. And the reason that's important is because red wines, they are fermented in their skins. That's where they get their color. That's where they get their tannins and these things. And white wines, the grapes are just, they're squeezed and then the juice is fermented separately. But red wines, they get all their complexities from the skins. And Pinot Noir has a very, very thin skin. So it's actually quite pale for a red wine. But this one it's definitely pretty pale for a red wine. If there were writing on this paper, I would be able to read it no problem. It's so we'll go like between a pale and a medium, I guess, on the intensity. It's not pale like a white wine, but definitely it's not dark. Also, you want to check color. Now this is a very young wine, so we have a bit of a ruby color. It's like a purpley red, but also very light though, with the garnet around the rim. When I have it here, the thinnest part is more of a garnet, an orangey red color. That's kind of common with a Pinot Noir. So, that's the appearance. Now let's get on to the good stuff. Let's get on to the nose. Here we are. We're talking about people sniffing and swirling. So that's what we do here. You'll see the people swirling their wine. Now when you see them do this, they're releasing as many aromas as they can from the wine. And the glass is actually very important. The glass is very important because you want a glass that is more wide towards the middle or the base, and gradually gets more narrow near the top. And the reason for that is it gathers the aromas. You know, it condenses them into one spot. So when you stick your schnoz into this thing, you know, everything's right there for you to smell. So let's give this a go. What I like to do, and this is just me, well, me and some other people that I've heard do the same thing, and whoever taught me, I like to get this big, giant, long, hard sniff right at first. A big snort of this stuff, you know. So give it that swirl and put my nose in it. Now what? The reason I do that kind of lets me know, you know, kind of where this wine is. What it like an intensity almost, and it's very very mild actually. It's there's not it doesn't get that big punch in the nose that you would get from like a Cabernet Sauvignon or a Syrah. One of those where you stick your nose in there and you know you've got some wine in front of you. You know, it just really decks you hard. Well, the Pinot Noir is a bit more delicate, so it's really light, very pleasant. It was very pleasant. So the next thing, the next smell, I like to just do a slow, long, just take it in, you know. Wow. Still very delicate, but this is where you try to pick up those flavors. You know, what are you smelling? You got to think about it a little bit. You know, you taste enough of these where you can kind of get reminded of things almost immediately after you do this well. This is just like anything, practice makes perfect. But yeah, definitely like some underripe strawberries, maybe some raspberry, very light, maybe underripe plum, delicate. I'm just getting nothing but these very, very delicate smells. This is not a very overpowering wine. It's very pleasant. So now we can move on to the best part, the palate, where we actually drink this stuff. Alright. So this is where you get to see people do all those weird, gross things. They throw it in their mouth and they give it a big old slurp for a little while and swish it around and chew on it. What they're doing is they're getting the wine all over every part of their mouth. And this really helps them paint a picture. Also, when they're doing the slurping, it's releasing more aromas and to the back of the nose. So you have your sense of taste and your sense of smell really working hard together while you're tasting it like this. That's another reason, you know, doing wine tasting kind of sucks if you have a cold. So here we go. Let's get started here. Wow. I was talking about that delicate smell. It's not delicate anymore. This wine has a lot of flavor to it. It's a good wine. I notice I'm swallowing a lot right now. Well, that has to do with the acidity. It's acidity the grapes get. Different soils will give different acidities as well. Different mineral contents. This is actually from Burgundy, France. So there's a lot of limestone. So you get a lot of acidity in this wine, and it's delicious. It gives you that refreshing, mouth-watering. It makes your mouth water like crazy. Oh, it's just absolutely wonderful. Also, sweetness is something you look for. Now, this is a dry wine. There's not really much, if any, residual sugar in this. It's very, very, very dry. And when you say dry, sometimes people confuse dryness with the tannins, because they're two different things. The dryness just means that there's no residual sugar, and tannin kind of gives your mouth that grippy feeling. The best way to describe the tannin flavor would be it's astringent. You feel it in your gums. It actually bonds with the proteins in your saliva and it makes it tacky. It just kind of feels like the moisture is removed from your mouth, you know. Some people really like that. I like some pretty high tannic wines myself, but this one is not too bad. It's really light on the tannins. I mean, they're there. I can taste them there, but it's not bad. It's pretty light, and it's very well balanced with the acidity and the tannins and the flavor. That's what we're going to get to here soon. The body of this wine, you know, it's not really that mild. It's got some body to it. There's a lot of flavor in this. It's like a whole basket of fruit, red fruits and some black fruits. Oh man, let's give it another taste. Oh yeah. There's blackberries, there's raspberries, there's plum. It's really good. Maybe a little hint of clove, just a little bit, you know. That would be from the oak, but not much. I mean, this is oaked to perfection. There's not a big, huge vanilla bomb oak flavor on this. Just a very, very light clove flavor in the back, and this is an absolutely beautiful wine. This is Maison Louis Latour. I actually picked this up a few days ago. I was in France. There's a grocery store, well, not a grocery store, a supermarket, kind of like Walmart in the U.S., called Cora. And they had a big, giant wine tent sale in their parking lot. So I stopped by the other day and I found this in here. I'd never tried this wine before, to be honest, so it's not like this is a paid review or a commercial for them or anything. This was just a recommendation by one of the workers there. It was pretty inexpensive. Well, for a Burgundy, it was pretty inexpensive. But I must say, I definitely got my money's worth. This was an absolute delicious wine. I can't say anything bad about it. I mean, it's not the #1 top best Burgundy that I've ever had, but it's pretty good. Well, anyways, those are the basics of formal wine tasting. I mean, there's really not much to it. Some people try to show off a little bit, but really there's not much to it. It's just looking, smelling, and tasting. But that's it. I hope you learned something. I really appreciate you watching my video. I hope you will check out our website, www.corks.com, and plenty of reviews. Actually, I think I'm going to write a full review on this wine, and that should be posted in a couple of days. But thanks for stopping by, and cheers!